We hear the word disability all the time, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a specific image pops into your head.
Yeah, usually just one or two things.
But what if that image is just, the tip of the iceberg? Welcome to the deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're not just skimming the surface. We're really plunging into what it truly means for businesses to engage with disability issues.
Right.
And forget simply meeting legal obligations. We're looking at the powerful, practical, and ethical reasons why this should be top of mind for you, the curious learner.
And for this deep dive, we've pulled together a really diverse range of sources. We're looking at the business case from Forbes, for example,
Okay.
and the exciting growth in assistive technology. There's a recent press release on that, plus compelling financial research from Accenture on the benefits of disability inclusion.
That sounds key.
Definitely. We also have a vital personal perspective challenging that whole idea of disability as like a niche market.
Mm.
Yeah, and ethical considerations from Santa Clara University, guidelines from the Department of Justice on web accessibility, practical tips for businesses serving customers with disabilities, some inspiring examples of innovative startups,
Wow.
and guidance on how businesses and disability organizations can form, effective partnerships. It's a lot to cover.
It is. So our mission here is to synthesize the most crucial insights from all of this, revealing why engaging with the disability community is far more significant and relevant than you might currently appreciate.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. Maybe let's start with a statistic that might just shift your perspective on the scale of this topic.
Absolutely. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, tells us that roughly 1 in 4 adults in the United States has some form of disability.
1 in 4.
Yeah, that's a massive 61 million people.
Wow.
Now, the crucial insight here isn't just the number itself, but understanding the sheer breadth of what disability encompasses. It extends far beyond, the image of someone using a wheelchair.
Right, which is often the first thing people think of.
Exactly.
So when we talk about disability, we're encompassing this vast spectrum of experiences, like physical impairments, paraplegia,
Yeah.
multiple sclerosis.
Sure. Sensory and communication differences, too, like deafness, visual impairments, speech conditions.
Right.
Intellectual and developmental disabilities, maybe Down syndrome, or the effects of traumatic brain injuries, learning disabilities like dyslexia,
Right.
autism spectrum differences, mental health conditions, anxiety, depression, and even chronic illnesses like heart conditions, diabetes,
Yeah.
things that can have really long-term impacts.
Very remarkably wide range.
It really is. And to grasp the magnitude, consider this. The Black population in the U.S. is around 42 million.
Okay.
The Hispanic or Latinx population, roughly 60 million.
Right.
The disability community at 61 million is comparable in size.
That puts it in perspective.
Yeah. And of course, you have to remember intersectionality. Millions of people identify with more than one group. But the key takeaway is to move away from seeing disabled people as this tiny, specialized minority. They're a huge part of our society.
A market as big as the Hispanic Latinx population in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's a massive, often overlooked segment.
Precisely. Which naturally leads us to think about the economic power within this community.
A market businesses really can't afford to overlook.
That's it. Disabled individuals are consumers. They have purchasing power. And employed disabled people, even more.
Makes sense.
The U.S. Department of Labor estimates the discretionary spending power is around $175 billion.
175 billion.
Billion, yeah, wow, right. It really puts the economic potential into perspective. It's not just about doing good, it's a huge market opportunity.
It is, and it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? When a business makes a genuine commitment to accessibility, and we mean going beyond just basic ADA compliance.
Right, beyond the bare minimum.
They cultivate real loyalty among disabled customers. These are people who often feel like an afterthought, so when a business truly values them.
It creates a powerful, lasting, positive impression. They feel seen.
Exactly.
And it's mutually beneficial. By actively creating more employment opportunities for disabled individuals, businesses don't just tap into a valuable talent pool.
Which is often underutilized.
Totally underutilized. But they also directly contribute to building a stronger customer base within this very community. People support businesses that support them.
Stands to reason. Now let's think beyond just the individual with a disability. There's a bigger ripple effect, isn't there?
Absolutely. Think about it. Most people who don't identify as having a disability know someone who does.
Right. Parents, spouses, kids, relatives, friends, neighbors.
Exactly. Your whole network.
And if a disabled person has a negative experience in accessibility, discrimination, the impact isn't just on them. it really influences the perceptions and, crucially, the spending habits of their whole network.
Their family and friends are highly likely to notice and remember. They'll hear about it.
Right, and maybe avoid that business themselves.
Precisely. Non-disabled allies can become incredibly strong vocal advocates. Someone with a disability might, unfortunately, be used to barriers,
Sadly, yes.
but their non-disabled loved ones might be genuinely surprised, even outraged, when they see it firsthand.
So businesses risk losing more than one customer.
A much wider circle of influence, definitely.
This all connects to something really fundamental. Disability is, well, a universal human experience. It's not an us versus them thing.
That's such a critical insight. Anyone, at any point, can acquire a disability.
From birth, sure, but also accidents, illness,
Right, like long COVID recently. That's created new ongoing disabilities for many.
and just aging, right, as life
Yeah.
expectancy goes up.
Exactly. The likelihood of experiencing some form of disability, vision loss, hearing loss, arthritis, it increases.
It really reframes the issue. Understanding disability isn't just about empathy for a specific group.
No.
It's about recognizing a part of human experience that could become part of our own lives. It's relevant to everyone.
Totally. Think about your own experiences online, maybe struggling with a poorly designed website.
Oh, definitely.
That gives you just a tiny glimpse into the daily challenges many face. And this universal relevance directly impacts a business's financial performance. We've got some really compelling data on this.
Yeah, it's that Accenture research. It's eye-opening.
It really is.
They found companies leading in disability inclusion had significantly higher financial results, like 1.6 times more revenue.
1.6x revenue, 2.6 times more net income,
2.6.
and twice the economic profit compared to their peers in the Disability Equality Index over 5 years.
Those are substantial differences, not small margin.
Not at all. It goes beyond just profit. These leaders were also 25% more likely to outperform on productivity.
Interesting.
And the research also noted an increase in workforce participation among people with disabilities since 2018, up from 29% to 37%.
Yeah, maybe that's linked to remote work, more digital accessibility awareness.
Could be. It suggests a positive trend anyway. So we've established the size, the spending power. Now we see the financial upside for businesses that get it right.
So it's clear, disability inclusion isn't just ethics, though that's vital.
Crucial.
It's also smart business. It's not a drain on resources. It actually accelerates performance, builds brand loyalty, boosts shareholder returns.
Which leads us neatly into assistive technology. This field is booming.
Right, that market growth you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. The market was estimated at what, US $25.34 billion in 2025?
Yeah, and projected to hit over USD 35.66 billion by 2032. That's a compound annual growth rate of 5%.
That's robust growth. It signifies a lot of dynamic development.
What is assistive tech exactly? It's a broad term.
It is broad. It covers a huge range of tools, devices, software, all designed to enhance independence and quality of life.
Like mobility aids.
Mobility aids, hearing implants, communication software, vision tools, smart wheelchairs, adaptive keyboards.
Speech-generating devices.
Yep, those two. Wearable sensors, ergonomic input devices, even AI algorithms for things like fall risk detection.
Wow, AI is getting involved too.
And voice-activated assistants. It's really remarkable how technology is advancing to meet these diverse, specific needs.
And this growth isn't happening in a vacuum, right? What's driving it?
It's a mix of things. Growing societal awareness around inclusion, definitely. The tech advancements themselves, robotics, AI, connectivity, and government initiatives play a part too. And the Internet of Things, IoT and AI, are becoming more integrated. That enables smart, connected solutions, remote patient monitoring.
So this market growth really reflects a greater recognition of the disability community's needs.
I think so, yeah. It's becoming more of a priority.
Now, a critical piece of this, especially today, is web accessibility. It's not just about physical abilities anymore.
Absolutely right. Inaccessible web content is like a locked door. It bars people with disabilities from equal access to essential information services.
And we rely on the web for so much now. Voting info, health resources, transit schedules.
Basic life stuff. So web accessibility isn't just nice to have, it's non-negotiable.
And the barriers can be surprisingly common, things maybe designers don't even think about.
Often unintentional, yeah. Things like poor color contrast makes text hard to read for low vision users.
Or using color alone for important info. Bad for colorblind folks or screen reader users.
Exactly. Missing alt text for images, screen readers can't describe the picture. No captions on videos for people who are deaf or hard of hearing.
Inaccessible online forms are a big one. Or sites you can only use with a mouse.
Right. All these seemingly small things create huge obstacles. And the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, applies online too.
Title II for state and local governments. Title III for businesses open to the public.
Correct, meaning their websites, their online services, applying for things, paying fees, virtual meetings, e-commerce, all need to be accessible.
And the Department of Justice is pretty clear on this.
Very clear. They reference the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG, and the Section 508 standards as good guidance.
And they've taken action when sites aren't compliant.
Oh, yeah. Project Civic Access, settlement agreements with universities, big companies like Rite Aid, H&R Block. They're serious about enforcement.
Okay, so for businesses listening, what are some concrete, practical steps they can take? It might feel overwhelming.
It can seem that way, but it starts with understanding the diversity within the disability community.
Right, not one size fits all.
Exactly. Hidden, visible, permanent, temporary, intellectual, mental health, physical, sensory learning. It's vast. So, step 1, avoid assumptions. Don't assume what someone can or can't do. Be mindful of invisible disabilities.
Makes sense. And then there are their specific ADA guidelines for physical spaces.
Yes, the practical stuff. Accessible entrances, counter heights, wide hallways, parking, clear signs, accessible restrooms. Businesses need to know their obligations there.
And beyond the physical, the way you interact.
Crucial. Adopt person-first language. Focus on the person, not the disability. Speak directly to them. Avoid hurtful or stereotypical language.
Seems basic, but important.
It is. And simple etiquette tips. Treat everyone as valued. Offer help, but listen to their response. Respect service animals. Stay calm if a situation feels unfamiliar.
So some practical takeaways for businesses.
Definitely. Welcome service animals, that's a big one. Train all your staff on etiquette and accessibility practices. Include disabled customers and emergency plans.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Keep that website accessible. Think about alternative solutions before just saying no to a disability-related request. Look into tax incentives for accessibility.
Tax incentives, okay.
And maybe the most important, talk to people with disabilities. Ask for their advice and perspective.
That direct engagement seems key, and it's inspiring to see startups really focusing on this community now.
It really is. Companies like Target with their adaptive clothing lines,
I've seen those.
ABL Denim making jeans specifically for people with disabilities, Access Explorer with indoor navigation apps for the visually impaired.
Cool innovations.
Yeah. And sure, these businesses might face challenges with profitability, scaling.
Like any startup.
Right. But their existence shows there's a growing market. It highlights how important it is to really understand the specific needs. Like that founder said, focus on function first, then fashion. Ask the right questions.
Okay, finally, let's talk about partnership. How can businesses team up effectively with disability organizations or workforce development pros?
This is huge for advancing disability employment. Community organizations, workforce pros, they have the expertise. They can educate businesses, connect them with qualified candidates.
But the connection has to work both ways.
Absolutely essential. The service providers need to understand and meet the business's needs.
Like being nearby, providing genuinely qualified candidates for the actual jobs available.
Exactly. Offering help with accommodations, assistive tech, providing good data, having one clear contact person, even helping with things like transportation. Businesses need practical solutions.
So how do you build those strong partnerships?
Have that central contact. Really listen to the business's needs, not just push your own agenda. Learn about their business, their industry.
Speak their language, avoid jargon.
Yes. Communicate clearly, respond promptly, follow through on commitments. There was a good example of an employment program partnering with an American job center to serve manufacturers. It shows it can work really well.
And the goal isn't just like one-off placements.
Right. Move beyond just transactional stuff. Here's a candidate towards a sustained engagement. Become a trusted consultant.
Helping with awareness training, ADA compliance, accommodations, stay-at-work plans, job coaching, accessibility.
Of all of it. Build a long-term partnership that benefits everyone and creates a more inclusive workforce.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap the core insights.
Sounds good.
We've seen the significant size and the economic clout of the disability community.
Huge numbers, huge spending power.
The real financial advantages for businesses that embrace inclusion, not just ethics, but bottom line.
The Accenture data really showed that.
The critical importance of accessibility, physical spaces, and the digital world.
Non-negotiable today.
And underlying it all, the fundamental ethical imperative to create equitable opportunities.
Absolutely. And the key takeaway really is that disability isn't some niche issue affecting a few people.
No, it touches a vast portion of society.
It has major societal and economic implications we just can't ignore anymore.
So on that final note, here's a thought for you, our listener, to consider. Reflect on how your own assumptions about disability might, maybe unintentionally, be limiting your perspective.
Hmm.
What small shifts in your thinking or your actions could help build a more inclusive and ultimately a more prosperous world for everyone?
And what other questions has this deep dive sparked for you about accessibility, inclusion, innovation?
Yeah, we really encourage you to explore the resources we talked about or dig deeper into any areas that particularly caught your interest.